If you've ever made a decision that felt right until it didn't, this episode is for you because one of your three brains, your head, your heart, or your gut, is literally running the show. And sometimes it's lying to you. Chris Schneider's, the creator of Three Brains Intelligence Method, is here with us today to discuss exactly that. Chris has spent over 3 decades helping leaders, coaches, and everyday humans figure out which inner brain is speaking and which one is sabotaging the message. So if you've ever felt confused, stuck, pulled in different directions, or emotionally hijacked by your own decisions, this conversation is going to show you exactly why. Quick shout out to Dr. Bradley Nelson and iHeartRadio for your sponsorship. And to our audience, listeners, our fans, please do not forget to like and subscribe before you leave today. Chris, it's so good to see you, and what perfect timing for this conversation. Because last night I was literally talking to a friend, and I said, it feels right in my heart, but my mind is telling me something different. So I love that this conversation is so
Well,
timely.
that's beautiful. Yes. And what you say, actually, that happens so many times that people say, oh, my gut feeling says this. But it doesn't sound logical to me to do it. Now, you say the most famous song, you're too young for it, but probably in the old days, you had the movie Grease with Olivia Newton-John. Maybe you
Yes.
heard of that. And Olivia Newton-John is singing, my heart says yes, but my head says no, when she thinks about John
Yes.
Travolta.
Yes.
And
That happens a lot. My heart says yes. My mind says no. So what's actually happening, and what does it mean to have a head brain, a heart brain, and a gut brain?
two questions. One step back. Scientifically, it's proven we have three brains. So let's put it there before people think that we're something like now in a new age wave and we had too much pot to smoke. Science already 40, yeah, but Western science already proves 40 years ago you have a brain in your heart. Doctor, sorry, Doctor,
Sorry, I shouldn't have thrown
somebody.
the pot before I got on this episode either.
Now, a person said to me two
Sorry, that
weeks
made me
ago.
laugh.
No, no, he said 2 weeks ago, Chris, three brains? What did you smoke? Because I was in Amsterdam. He said, I didn't smoke anything. I don't smoke those kind of stuff. Yeah, but it sounds really crazy, three brains. I said, yes, it is. But 40 years ago, André Moore, a neurocardiologist, came aware we have a little brain on the heart, 100,000 brain cells, and it can make independent decisions and it can store memories.
Right.
And research in heart transplants prove that. And heart transplant and emotions, memories were transplanted. Now, they can only happen if the heart has a memory system. The gut, the second brain, Michael Gershon, 500 million brain cells, is amazing. And I don't talk about the gut microbes, but really about neurons or brain cells and all the other things that also is existing in our head. To put that there. So scientifically proven 40 years ago, you can Google it and you come aware of it. Now, and then you can ask, hey, my heart says, my head says, why is that? God doesn't gamble, as they say, or roll the dice, and evolution does not make mistakes if you follow Darwin or Lamarck. So what is the reason for that? Then, Lisa, just imagine 500 million years ago. What was living 500 million years ago on Earth? Only little organisms that looked like actually an intestine. Food came in and food came out. What you can now see, say, still in the sea when you look at sea cucumbers or a sponge or even like an oyster actually, if you look at an oyster, it doesn't have a head, it does not have a
Yeah.
heart, but this is a living organism. And by the way, with a little drop of lemon, so nice. A little tequila next to it. I love oysters. Anyhow, so we all started from the gut. A gut can be a living entity by itself, and it has enough intelligence to know what's food, to know what is predator, to know how to reproduce, and to actually have an immune system that keeps it alive. Now, 500 million years later, put arms on it, a head and a heart, and it's still there.
Right.
Even Yankovic already came 80 years ago aware, hey, we originate from the gut, the heart and the head are actually extra add-ons to support the more complex organism we are. Now, if you then think about that oyster again, what is the main functions of an oyster? To keep yourself alive. That means I have to eat and to drink. I have to be aware of danger, so close my little shell if a seagull is coming, or open it when I like to reproduce with other kind of handsome oysters. I don't know how oysters reproduce, but probably not like I'm now having in my mind. Right? They actually spit out the sperm and it goes in one watery thing and somewhat gets connected, but it's totally different story. So it has all to eat, to reproduce, to fight the flight, and to have an immune system. So if you
Right.
follow your gut system and you follow your gut feeling, it's actually that instinct is giving answers. Hey, what do I like to eat? What do I like to drink? Should I run away or should I fight this system? And by the way, is she nice or isn't she nice, or is he nice or isn't he, or is he not nice? Reproduce kind of system. But the
Yeah.
most important thing in normal life is actually to keep yourself alive. So fight, flight, success, and winning. Because if you think about the primitive life system, it is eaten or be eaten. There is no gray
Mm.
in between. It is almost like, if you like compare it, if you have a lion and you have, say, a gazelle, and they are running behind each other. For the lion, the gut system says, if I win, I eat. If I lose, I don't eat and maybe die. For the gazelle, it's the opposite thing. If I'm quick enough, I live. If I'm not quick enough, I become lunch. So
Yeah.
the whole gut system is about winning and achieving. There is no in between. And there is no socialization part in that part. Then you come to your heart, but you said, okay, but hey, my heart said it felt good or warm in my chest. When we are born, Lisa, when you were born, uh, let's go back to the gazelle. A gazelle can walk and run in half an hour. How long did it take you to stand up and to run away from somebody who wanted to kick your little ass?
Couple of years.
Couple of years. Yes, not a half an hour like gazelle. So we are totally depending on our parents or maybe caregivers if we don't have parents to keep us alive.
Yeah.
So bonding is our survival system as human beings. So the heart came in place to keep bonding there. Because the heart actually can also synthesize and release oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone, the connection hormone, the love hormone. It makes you feel good to be together. So the heart is actually always giving you advice. How do I stay connected? How can I stay part of the tribe, part of the group? What is good for the people I love? So if your heart was speaking yesterday and it felt good, then probably it was about that it was good for you to stay in your group, to stay with your friends, to stay with your parents, to stay connected. It would also
Mm.
say benefit your bonding.
Right.
Does that make
Right.
sense? The last thing that your heart
Well,
felt good yesterday?
it was my heart was telling me it was a negative, well, it
No.
was a situation about my ex and
Ah,
the decision of should I be messaging him this because my heart told me that that was the right thing to do, but my mind told me that I shouldn't be messaging him at all.
okay. So it is about relationships, your ex. By the way, about exes, don't follow your heart. Why
I
I say
didn't.
that,
Yes.
why I say that, the heart likes to bond. The heart doesn't like to reject. So if you were, say,
Yeah.
in love with each other, although you break up, and it is not a horrible breakup, it's not a hateful breakup, the heart still likes to stay connected.
Yeah.
And I think there's a song of Dua Lipa about, say, about an ex. I don't know if you know that
Yeah.
song. I will not sing it here, but it is, if you like to get over it, don't get under it.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely
Eh,
prevents you from moving forward because you keep those
Yeah,
attachments alive.
yeah,
But it is,
yeah,
it's difficult because when you're in an elevated state, that's essentially when
yeah,
you start reprogramming
yeah.
and when you think of that person, genuinely love and care about them, but you
Uh,
want to move on. And that's where
uh,
the heart and head and gut
yeah,
tell you the three different things.
absolutely. But that's why I said don't listen to your heart about exes, huh? If you like to text them or not.
I'm
Otherwise,
gonna put a sticky note on my wall right now that
well,
says, "Don't listen to heart when it comes to exes."
yeah, now, okay. I can send you the song of Dua Lipa, what you probably know. I don't know what the song is, but it is really about her ex. If you like to
Yes,
get over
yes.
it, don't
There's
get
so
under
many
it.
songs about the ex.
Yeah. But her song is also really danceable, so that's why I like it.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
I love it.
Anyhow, so that's the heart bonding. Yeah, so it is always advice about relationships, but it is extremely afraid of rejection,
Mm,
and it feels guilty or sad when that happens. And it is there, that sensation, to keep you connected. Hey, guilty because, oh, I did something wrong, so I like to please again to stay connected, or sad because you broke up.
yeah,
Those are normal things, but I will say don't let those make the decision unless you first decide, consult upstairs and downstairs. Is this good for me? Eh? Just like an egocentric lion or gazelle, is this good for me? Will I stop and look at the lion or will I keep on running? So
right,
will I stop and look at my ex or will I keep on running?
right. I'll keep on running.
Yeah. So now and then we come to our beautiful head, evolution-wise, because that was your whole question. So we have a heart that keeps us bonded, a gut that keeps us alive and makes us achieve and makes us win. But both of them live in the present. The heart and gut don't know next week, don't know last week. They're almost like
Yeah,
little childs before the age of 6. And before the age of 6, we don't know last week, next week. Everything is today.
right.
The head stepped in to manage all of that. The evolution made us amazing great because we are, I could say, the only creature on this earth that really can pinpoint next week 5 o'clock and last week 4 o'clock. No elephant, no other kind of, no monkey can put it there. They have a concept of memories because an elephant can memorize you and just like a monkey, but it cannot put it in time. We have time, and that is amazing because if you have time, you can do a cause and effect analysis. Okay, so if I do this, this would happen. If I did that, then this happened. So let's analyze what happens. So that gives us an amazing advantage and actually to make better decisions. Because you put, say, old experiences in a whole big matrix if you distill a new solution out of it. So that's why we have had. Now, 3 brains with the solution, what it does.
Yeah.
Now,
So, how can we quickly tell which brain is speaking in a
uh,
decision-making moment? Because I feel like that's when it's crucial to know.
hmm, I would say what you said already, if your heart or gut are somewhere involved, you will sense it in your body. And when you
You're
say a
right.
heartfelt, when your heart likes to do something, it feels it. Say, when you're anxious, where do you feel it?
In your gut.
In your gut. So what is your gut telling? I am nervous. I'm afraid. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Where's the chi point according to the chi point is say in Asian technology, in Tai Chi, in Qigong, and where's the chi, the energy point connected in our body?
That's right below the belly button.
Absolutely. Okay, Lisa, that's multiple reasons why I love you. This is one of them. You know this. Now, it is true that that's something about the second chakra under your belly button.
Yeah.
There's your energy point, also all your energy. So when you really have energy, you also feel it there. When you have like, oh yes, we can do it, you feel it also there happening. And you feel grounded, you feel strong inside your pelvis, you feel that energy coming in. So you can sense it bodily. The only thing is, people sense it because it doesn't talk. Your heart felt, but your heart doesn't say, hey, Lisa, your ex is still a sweetie, that little tricky eyes he has, that little smile he has. Oh, yes. And do you remember his tushy? Oh, yes, and his nice shoulders. Okay. Oh, yes, he's beautiful. Your heart doesn't say that. Because then you could say, hello, hello. Yeah, nice that you say that, but that's not important anymore. Do you know what he did? Or do you know what he also doesn't do?
Right.
But your heart doesn't remember that part because your heart and your gut do not talk in language, but in sensations. People forget to listen to it because we're not educated to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
not a lot of people, let's say, let's go to school, where we officially have to learn. Which part of our body gets taught in school?
Our brains.
Our head, only our head. They only focus on maths, language, and science, chemics, and all the kind of stuff. But they don't really train us. Okay, how does this feel? Does it feel good for you? Does it feel good for the group? How do you sense this? So the somatic part is not done anymore. In the old days, when I was young and I was on the Rudolf Steiner school, we did dance and eurythmy and all the kind of things. So somewhere we learn to listen to our body somatically, not from the
Right.
purpose from, okay, what does your heart say, what does your gut say, but really to get in tuned. Now, in nowadays schools, that's almost not happening anymore. So people
No.
leave school and actually are disconnected. So, so
So
when we, so coming back to your question, we have to start sensing, hey, it doesn't feel good, And before you make a decision that's important, shall I text my ex back or not? Then really check in, okay, let's think for this for a moment. What could happen if I do? What could happen if I don't? So really ask the prediction question. What happens if I do? What happens if I don't? And
right.
by the way, how will he perceive it if I text him back?
Right.
Now, and then say, okay, just imagine your heart was ready. Oh yeah, I feel good for my ex. And then say, okay, now listen to my gut. And then actually ask the question, is this good for me? Does this benefit me? And really the egocentric, narcissistic question, is this good for me?
Right.
Will this benefit me? If the answer, and if then you really have something like, no, then you have actually three answers. And then okay, hey, got maybe three different answers, maybe are the same. Okay, how can I combine them? My head says no, my gut says, and my heart says yes. Okay, probably two no, one yes. Okay, let's go for no.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because these decisions, as you're speaking about, we're making them in like split seconds. And
Yeah,
so all of these things are happening, but most of the time it feels like the head brain is screaming the answer.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like it's like I feel like my head brain is screaming at me. I feel something in my heart and something in my gut. And all this is happening so fast.
yeah. Okay, the beauty is, and one thing, our head, it's amazing. Because people think, oh, you don't like the head. That thing in between our ears is amazing. The only thing is, most of the times when it is about relationships, about survival, it's useless in the first instant.
Totally.
Because if you run away for something, uh, your head is not giving you all the answers. Your gut is giving you all the energy to run like crazy. Your head is great if you can pause, because then it can do a cause and effect analysis.
Right.
If your head is screaming, it means your heart or your gut is actually sending sick, because 90% of the nerve system sends signals upstairs, and only 10% send signals downstairs. So your heart and gut send massive amount of signals upstairs. So if your heart or gut is really wanting something, your head gets an explosion of signals from yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
And then your head starts screaming. And if people say, how do you mean that? Just imagine um, as an idea, Lisa. So you're not allowed to have breakfast. You're not allowed to have lunch. You write down in the morning before you have breakfast a logical list about what you're going to do for shopping, what you're going to eat. So probably would be known, looking at you, probably a salad and some healthy
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but imagine, okay, so you write so
I
that
did have
all
salt and vinegar chips last night, though.
maybe you write down one chips. That's okay. And then you don't have breakfast, you don't have lunch, and just before dinner you're going out to whatever kind of superstore to do your shopping. Do you think that list of the morning will be followed, or will your gut scream at you from I'm hungry, I see cheesecake, I see chocolate, I see chips, I see
Oh,
other
it'd
kind
be
of
like
safe.
torture. I'd go straight to the protein bar aisle and I'd open up the protein bar and I would eat it with my cart.
Yes, and because your gut at that moment is screaming upstairs, I'm hungry, and will override
Yeah,
all the systems. So that's what's
true.
happening. And that's the easy way to share with people. That's when your heart or gut is screaming to you, and your head is totally overrun and just blurs out actually what your gut or heart on that moment wants to express.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens all the time. All the
And
time.
by the way,
And
a,
I
a
feel like
protein bar is a good choice. Protein cup is a better choice than cheesecake.
I once ate a banana and then I had to give the person at the till my banana peel for her to somehow compute how much I owed her for eating the banana peel, for
Yeah,
eating the banana, sorry. But
yeah,
that's a really good example of when, our gut is
yeah,
overriding our whole system. Um, and another good example of how the heart
yeah,
overrides our system when we want to connect. So many people are lonely and
yeah,
struggling, and sometimes we talk to people we shouldn't be talking to
yeah,
because our heart wants to
yeah,
connect. So,
yeah. And
I
if you
mean,
if you
so
think about social media, to interrupt you, social media is amazing that because in social media we have that little ID that we are connecting when we say a like or not a like. A
yeah,
little spark of oxytocin jumps up when we do a like or not a like. So we feel somewhere connected, and this one is amazingly connecting with that feeling of being connected. Only after 2 hours on whatever kind of social media, you're still lonely if you put your phone away.
yeah, yeah, 100%. That's why it's dangerous because this little device here, if I'm feeling lonely or sad,
Yeah,
or if I'm not satisfied with
yeah,
what's going on inside of me,
yeah,
then I will outsource my power and I will,
yeah,
send flirtatious messages to people and do all these risque things just to feel something. But then it doesn't feel good anymore. So yeah, it really starts from the inside.
yeah.
What are the classic signs that one of our brains is lying to us? So you talk about
Uh,
like how to distinguish which brain to use. Like, how do we
yeah.
know when our brain is lying to us?
Dit come back, hè? Brains don't lie. That is, you have a difference between lying and not the right advice.
Mm.
So coming back
But
about lying, and
my
like,
head brain tells me something like, or is that my heart? When we're getting those
yeah,
messages, like imposter syndrome
yeah,
in
yeah,
business, when we're walking
yeah,
into a room, we feel fear. When we're hearing the messages, you're not
yeah,
good enough, you're not
yeah.
experienced enough, you're not smart enough. Where are those messages coming from?
Ah, Lisa, amazing question. Because so let's make it simple. First, I said your brains never lie. So everything we do is coming from a positive intention.
Hmm.
And so when we were born, we learned how to act in our family with our brothers, sisters. We learned how to deal in school with school teachers, boyfriends, girlfriends, etc. So we learned, say you could say, behavior, coping mechanisms, and beliefs.
Yeah,
If you're the oldest child and you have multiple brothers or sisters, most oldest childs learn the sentence: "Be a good brother or a good sister. Take care of your brothers and sisters. Be a good boy,
yeah,
be a good girl, take care of your brother or sister." So they learn actually already to become a pleaser. They have to put their own needs away to please the family system. And that is
yeah,
not negative when you are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 years old. But the moment we get adults, like we are now, then that system should actually stay when we were young. Pitfully, we learned it as a belief: I'm only a good boy if I take care of my brothers or my sisters. And that
right.
belief, and that belief that you talk about, is then what is now popular called a limiting belief because it limits me to choose for myself.
Mm,
Imposter syndrome is somewhere the same. Eh? You learned somewhere, and it's a combination of limiting beliefs, actually imposter syndrome. So it's not pitfully one belief system, it's multiple ones. One that you never got enough, uh, say, unconditional love. Unconditional
mm,
love is conditional love is be a good girl, Lisa, and clean up your room. Be a good girl, Lisa, take care of your sister. Be a good girl, Lisa, and come home with all A's.
Yeah.
So you were conditioned that you are something if you do something. And that's one part of the imposter syndrome. The other part of the imposter syndrome is actually that what I said, that even if you come back with, say, high scores, you ask, oh, Lisa, okay, so you had an A minus. That's great. Did you have the highest score? No, of course not. Stacy had an A. Oh, so you're not the best. Okay, no, that's okay. And boom, you learn actually that even if you have an A minus, you're not good enough because Stacy had an A.
Right.
And then and that adds also a limiting belief that whatever you do, it's never good enough. So it's a little bit perfectionism steps in there. So an imposter syndrome is actually a combination of limiting beliefs. Now, limiting beliefs are still not liars. A limiting belief is an old mechanism that was extremely useful some time ago. The only thing is, we forgot that it's not useful now anymore. Because I said the heart and the gut don't know time. So somewhere they learned this is good to survive, this is good to stay bonded, so we keep it. And the pity is, when we are leaving our parents' house, not our parents don't say, by the way, dear Lisa, you learn to these beliefs, be a good girl, be this, be that, be that. From this moment onwards, skip it, never do that again. We manipulated you crazy to do that in the family system. Now you're all by
Right.
yourself, skip it all and be yourself. Don't please us anymore, don't listen to us anymore, do your own life. Nobody tells us that. And even if you
No.
tell us, logically we could say yes, but our heart and gut say, yeah, they say it, but do they mean that? Because they're still my parents.
Well, I was just
And
going to say what happens when our three brains disagree.
that happens. Then we have to learn, actually, we have to teach the heart and the gut that this in the past is not useful anymore. And when I train people in three brain coaching or three brains intelligence coaching, I, I learn some techniques how you can coach people to disconnect the limiting belief. And it is amazing to see that it works spotless. And people come in and say, oh, this was my belief. But the moment the heart or the gut know, oh, that was 20 years ago, it just drops. Because they live in the
Right.
present. And if it's not useful, why would you keep it? And because they're all about bonding now, survival now. So if it's not good for my bonding now or not good for my survival now, they just forget it. They think, okay, that's old cheese. We don't do that anymore. And so we can teach it. So coming back, your brains don't lie. It's all coming from a good intention, only use an old program.
Right.
Then what keeps you stuck, that you say imposter syndrome, or I'm not good enough, or big boys don't cry, or girls always should look pretty, or sweet, or girls should be sweet, girls should understand, like Beyonce's was singing, we should understand those horrible men. So if I were a guy, uh, those are all limiting beliefs that were useful once, and your heart still believes them. So they give an advice based on information that is 10, 20, 30 years old. It's almost like now giving an advice from, why don't you dial that number? And you say, dial that number, Chris? How do you mean dial? Now, 30 years ago, you had a phone and you had to dial it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Number
uh,
nine was so long. I can hear that
yeah,
ticking
tuk, tuk,
now.
tuk, tuk, tuk. Yes, okay, you still hear it. But if you would go, say, to people from 10 years or 15 years old to say, dial, dial. What do you mean? What do you mean dialing? Now, we have to think
Yeah.
that you have
Or
to,
turn the
if I dial,
radio on.
yeah, turn the radio on. They say, you mean Spotify? Or you mean
Yeah.
iTunes? No, the real radio. The real radio. So they use an old system still now. So they don't lie, they just use an old system. So, and that's really important to know, because if you like to change it, actually, a lot of people say, fight your beliefs, kill your habits, uh, like an internal war. Now, the pity is your body listens. And if it gets to here, it likes to kill parts of you. It doesn't like to be killed. So you get actually create a disconnection in the body and in the mind. And it's really hard to solve it. If you would say start accepting it, that's why it doesn't lie, it's all coming from positive intentions. Hey, this limiting belief I have, is I call them in my trainings and in my workshop, in my work, always protectors. Of course, they protected you in the old days to get hurt, to get isolated, get rejected. If you embrace the protector for what it was and the beauty of it, and you keep the skills that are good, of course, there's still good skills in it, then it's easier to actually to disconnect the belief and leave the belief behind and keep the skills there. And so to embracing it. And they can also change it. But having said that, and I say it 5 times, your brains never lie. They use an old system maybe to give you an advice based on 10, 20, 30 years ago. And unless you teach them it's not needed anymore, they will keep advising that.
Yeah. Well, I like this example. Sometimes we'll take medication
Uh,
or
uh,
a supplement and it'll work really, really well for a little while, but then it
no,
stops working. But because it worked really, really well for a little while, you
uh,
keep taking it even
yeah,
though it's not working anymore. And so I hear a lot of people say who are really stubborn or stuck in
mm,
their way that if it ain't broke, don't change it. But how do you keep using the same thing and expect it to give the same
uh,
results for your entire life? So I feel like a lot of us are being controlled by our old ways and we don't even realize it.
okay, and that makes sense. Eh? Then just blur out your 3 brains, because this one in your head already takes 20 to 25% of your energy and oxygen on a daily basis. So
Right.
1/4, oh wow. Hey, my I don't know what happened.
You're
Oh, I
just,
did something. I think I have signal, so somewhere it disappeared. Okay.
it looked like you
Anyhow,
went to it looked like you went to the to the
yeah, no,
astronaut. You're an astronaut all of a sudden.
I think my finger movements are there, so I will keep my hands down. Otherwise, before you know it, balloons are coming up or something else.
You
So
went to
anyhow,
space all of a sudden. I saw stars and in the
that's
sky.
yeah, we go a little bit spiritual. Mm.
Yeah, all of a sudden, yeah, stop smoking that pot we were talking about earlier.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm in the Netherlands, so yes, it's so easy.
No
And
kidding.
the coffee shops in the Netherlands are not the coffee shops what you know in the States.
No, I know. That's crazy. There is a pot store at every single corner in my city though. So it's kind of the
Okay,
same, but a little different.
okay. And so your head takes away 20 to 25% of your energy. Your heart and gut another 15. So 40% of your energy is taken by your 3 brains. So why is it so hard to change, or do we keep doing the same thing? Because
Yeah, why we get stuck in those looping patterns. So why
that,
do we
that
still do the same thing even though we know better?
because to change, it takes a lot of energy, because actually you need the brain connections, the axons that send out the information and retrieve the information and the connection to have to be changed. They have to go new connections. So new connections takes a lot of energy. Just
Yeah,
imagine little babies in their first year, 60 to 80% of their energy goes to their brain in their head for growth and for learning.
right,
And a chess player in, say, world championships can use the same amount of energy of somebody who bikes 150 kilometers.
right,
Okay, so just imagine, just by thinking in competition in chess, and then world championship chess, and not if we play chess, can take the same amount of energy of biking 150 kilometers in a high speed.
wild. Yeah,
Okay,
makes sense.
so so if that happens, that means if we have to learn, it takes a lot of energy. And if already 40% of your energy is taken by your daily activities without doing anything strange, you have only 60% left. That's what Lisa Barrett-Feldman calls your body budget of energy. And
Right,
that body budget of energy, your 3 brains are extremely smart to say, I don't use extra energy if it's not really needed for bonding, staying alive, or those kind of stuff. So to get out of our old patterns, we have to put new energy in our system.
right.
And that's only happening when your heart, gut, and head says, this is really important to learn. If not, it
Mm,
disappears. Eh? It's the same if you like to learn a new language. If you read 1 time a new word in a new language, 9 out of 10 you will not recognize it or not remember it. Unless it's extremely important, then you will recognize it and you will learn
right.
it. So it is repetition, 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 or put a huge importance in there. Then you learn it. That, that takes massive amount of energy. So only when we're willing to put a lot of energy or a huge urgency in there, it will start learning, because then it takes the energy to learn and to create new connections.
Yeah,
So
it's really difficult to do something differently when we're used to doing something the same way all the
yeah,
time. It's like think about when you move or when you end a relationship
yeah,
or quitting a bad habit. You're
yeah,
you're like pulled so strongly to that because it's this pattern that you're used to all the time, and doing the other thing is challenging. It's like
yeah,
picking the hard road.
the pattern is actually the least energy system. That is what Daniel Kahneman in Thinking Fast and Slow noemt system one. It's easy. 101 is two. You don't need energy to think about it. A red light means stop. You don't have to think about it. But if I say 5 multiplied by 13 minus 8, add 3 and divided by 2, the most of us will
Now I
now
need to
say,
go to sleep because I use too much energy.
yeah. Can you say it again, Chris? Let me write it down.
Yeah.
Let's take my phone. Let's calculate, because it takes a lot of energy. And
Yeah.
unless there's a huge urgency, I say, Lisa, if you know the answer, you get $1 million. Then you would put energy in there. Think, okay, that's a nice thing. Or I
Oh,
say,
then all of
Lisa,
a sudden I'm paying closer attention. Yep.
yeah. Or I say, Lisa, if you don't know it, I will break your little pinky.
Oh, I'll still pay attention. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So those are two things that on that moment you learn. You put a lot of energy in the learning. Because there
Right.
is or a huge prize or a huge pain. Otherwise, you just, like me, forget totally the calculation. You think, I don't know what it is. Who cares? And that's
Yeah.
with every habit. Habits are easy because they don't take energy. To learn a new way takes energy. And just imagine
Right.
for you, Lisa, a new boyfriend. You have to learn his patterns, his family, his friends, where he lives, how to get there, his likes, his dislikes. That's a huge work. That's a lot of work. There's a lot of energy. So
Yeah.
it's easier to stay in the old. The same if you always do the same and go. I don't know. Do you have a grocery store where you always go to, one brand, the
I
Walmarts or I don't
usually,
know?
yeah, I have a routine with a grocery store. Yeah.
Okay, now you go to a totally other kind of grocery store from a different kind of company who have their
Oh, it's frustrating because I'm like, I don't know where anything is. Now it's going to take me
yes,
twice as long.
yes,
I gotta find the organic section. It's usually over here in the other store. And then it's so
yes,
frustrating.
yes. Where's the gluten free? Where's the biological stuff? So, and this is new learning. It takes
Right.
more time. It's frustrating. It gives you a headache. So, what is easier? You go to your grocery store, because there I go in the aisle to the right. There's my biological fruities. I go to the left. There are all my vegetables. I go one aisle to the left. There's my gluten-free stuff. I go one aisle there. Okay, there are my beautiful yogurts and my
Wait, have you
kefir.
been to my grocery store? Because you're describing exactly what it looks like.
So, and this doesn't take energy. So this is a
No.
habit. This is a pattern. This is system one, easy thinking. Everything that is new takes a lot of energy, unless you move, say, to a different kind of apartment and you move next to that new grocery store. You're not willing to go to that new grocery store because there's no need. But if the new grocery store is a 1 minute walk and your old one is a 10-minute walk, then you say, okay, I will learn in a new grocery store because then it makes
Yeah.
sense.
I also find it exciting sometimes. Like I get it in our fast-paced world when you're going from one
Mm,
thing to another
mm,
to another to another. It's not so fun and exciting to go to a new
yeah,
grocery store and have to learn. But when you have the time and it's exciting almost because you see new things and you see meet new people and but I can also understand how that can be incredibly challenging and frustrating.
yeah, yeah, but this is actually what the explanation is about, say, why learning is or change is so difficult, because it takes a lot of energy. And just think about the
Yeah.
grocery store example. New grocery store is learning. Old grocery store is staying in your old habit.
Yeah.
And you got it. And 9 out of 10 people will stay in their old grocery store because it's easier, unless there's a huge need because they move houses or they just like to explore and just say, no, I'm a pensionado. I don't have anything to do the whole. Let's go to a new grocery store at least, and I fill up an hour.
Right.
And maybe can talk to some new people. But that's then a different kind of need.
Yeah, for sure. So what's a simple daily habit that builds three brain alignment?
Ooh, a simple one. Okay, I love the word simple because 40 things came in my head. Um, Now, the most simple one is actually, you could say, you can call it embodiment, is really becoming aware of your own body. So, and I would almost say the easiest one for your gut brain is if you go to the bathroom, if you like to eat, and really become aware about the sensations. So it's like becoming aware of the sensations, because we have those sensations. If you're hungry, you need to go to the bathroom. But most people don't notice them, but they take the action. They start noticing them. But also start noticing if you make a decision, whatever it is. Say you go to the grocery store and say, oh, shall I buy kefir or yogurt? Okay, my boyfriend likes this brand, I like that brand. Okay, how I'm going to make the choice? And then start really listening. Okay, so they like this, I like this.
Get
To whom am
both.
I going
Just
to
kidding.
listen? Yeah, that's also most times my choice. But start listening, what will I choose? Or from, hey, I went earlier today, before my swim, I went to the grocery store and I thought, hey, what am I going to have for dinner today? And I was really tuning in, what do I really want to have?
Mm,
So actually really start almost listening to my body, what would you like to have? And actually I did grocery shopping after my swimming. So my body said, okay, I like to have some proteins, Chris. I like to have some healthy vegetables. Now we went for beans and we went for some fish and some other things and some big salad. So I really start listening to my body. What would you like to have? So I
right.
don't. So by that, and by the way, don't do that if you don't have breakfast, don't have lunch, and just go shopping before dinner because then you maybe come home with all that kind of stuff. I do it when you're not extremely hungry, so you feel at ease. And it's the same if you start thinking from, hey, will I respond to an ex? How do I respond to a colleague? What I'm going to write to that person in my WhatsApp or in my email? Am I going to put only the task in there? Am I going also something to put something for the relationship in there? And what do I like to put for me in there? Really start noticing what you're doing. So actually it is an awareness. And and the awareness helps the most, where we started this whole podcast is when you make decisions. And awareness is, and then there are three questions. Eh? Is this logical? Is this good for the relationships? Is this good for me?
Right.
Those three questions gives you that. So is it logical? No, it's not logical to do this. Okay, my head says no. Is it good for the relationship? Oh no, they will hate it. Okay, the relationship is also no. And what does my gut say? Oh, this is so good for you. Okay, so hey, two no, one yes. Okay, how am I going to make this happening? So with every decision, just ask those three questions. Is it logical? Is it good for the relationship? Is it good for me? And by doing so, you start training actually your own system to start listening to it. And
So
that's
this is your
extremely
three brains intelligence. So
yeah,
how, once we start using, when you start coaching people, your three brains
yeah.
intelligence, how does it change their environment, their relationships, their communication, their work style? Because you work with a lot
Uh,
of leadership, people
yeah,
in leadership positions.
that's how what happens is that their decision. Now we start by decision. Their decisions taking in consideration all the three aspects. That doesn't
Right,
mean they're all happy right away, because we can still sometimes make a decision that they have to cut, that they have to make people redundant, and of course those people will not like it to make being redundant. Okay, but we have to make it redundant. If I listen to my heart, how can I do it in a way that at least those people feel respected? And so not
right,
like Elon Musk once did and just sent out a tweet. If you get this tweet, you don't have to be there tomorrow anymore.
right.
But that's really a gut brain, easy done. I don't care about anybody. And so, okay, so what you see happening, if they make decisions, they start asking all the three questions to themselves to embed all the three, at least in the action you're going to take. It does not mean that all three always agree with the decision, but based on the decision, they give their advice. How can we make the best of it? Sometimes you have to follow just your heart. With your gut and head, say, okay, if you follow your heart, is great, but at least do these steps so you don't get overwhelmed. And you
Right.
can also stand back. You can also still send a message to your beautiful ex, Lisa. Dear X, thank you for texting me. And by the way, you know the word X? Okay. So I respond to you and I really admire you. We had an amazing time and you're still in my heart, but I don't like to have communication with you anymore. Now you can put the
Yeah.
heart and the gut in there. You can put your boundaries from the gut and you can put the heart in there that you that there's a relationship, that you don't hate him or whatever. And so you can put everything in there. And what you see with leaders, they become more whole in their part. So the decisions is not, because what happens, what you said, Lisa, and it was so great, and what happens to all the leaders also, there's stress happening, they have to make a decision. So then the
Right.
brain that's the most dominant in our life, oh, you got sun on your face, make me
I know. I'm
jealous.
going to pull this
No,
down
no,
quickly.
oh, no, that's totally okay. I'm in the Netherlands. We had today 30 minutes of sun. And
I
the
just
rest of the
put
day was
deep.
clouds and rain. And
It's
so,
snowing where I'm at. So it was
oh,
snowing this
wow.
morning and now the sun's coming out, which is beautiful.
Oh, wow. Okay. That does not sound like Florida. That sounds more like the northern part of the States.
Yeah, I'm in Canada. So
In
we
Canada,
get
oh,
really
even,
cold
even
winters
above
here.
there in Canada. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Those are the winters where the snow is above your ankles. Ooh, wow.
Yes. And I get to make snow angels and throw snowballs
Oh,
at people I don't like. I'm just
oh, yeah,
kidding.
that's so good. And so that's also so loud. So the leaders become more whole. So what they see, they say, the teams, so they're leaders. So their teams, you see that the engagement in their teams, on a scale from 1 to 10 at least, goes 1 point to 2 points to 3 points up. So the engagement in the teams will go more because they don't just lead the team for actions or achievements. They lead the team as people from how do we can get the best out of you.
Right.
And by the way, and they still do it logical from we have to achieve this, and they still say, okay, we have to win or we have to get that order or we have to do it quick or whatever. So they embrace all the three actions in there. So the teams become more successful. They hence also become more successful. And the beauty is, if you look at their personal life, their stress levels drops, the burnout levels drop. They're more at ease at home. They sleep better. They feel more energized, rejuvenated. So I still know one of the leaders said, my wife likes to text you. So that's okay. And help me a little bit. Why? I thought, I don't know.
Hmm.
He said, she wants to thank you. I said, okay, that's good. That's okay. I said, but why? He said, I said, she likes me more because I'm more gentle. I listen to her. But when I come home after work, and he worked at the stock exchange, he worked as a trader, he said, I'm not so stressed anymore. Although my job is stressful, but somewhere I can drop it off. I come home more engaged, more happy, more listening. So she said she fell in love with me again. I said, to be honest, I never knew she fell out of love with me because I was
Right.
totally not in my three brains. She said, but when she said it, and I really listened in, I said, oh yeah, she's right. Because now I could look back and see actually where I now somewhere dropped the ball and how my behavior changed. Actually, at that moment I
Wow.
was not aware of it. Now I'm aware of it. So you see, in a business life, success, achievements, happiness, engagement. In the personal life, almost the same. Wellness, health, happiness comes much more back.
It's
So
it's fascinating to me that you were helping someone in business and it actually not only helped them in business, but it transformed their personal life as well.
yeah,
So it just shows how much everything is interconnected.
yeah, like I had, I can send you the medium story about it. I had a client coming in. She's a senior executive in communication, and she came in because she's had already almost 2 burnouts, and she was out of energy and whatever ever. So how do we deal with this? And we heard already that she has a boss that was really one of the toxic leadership bosses who just squeezed all the energy out of her. Let her work in the evenings, in the weekends, etc. So she had the idea I
Yeah.
have to learn to say no. During our talk, actually, she said, Chris, as a side note, I can only eat 5 foods. I said, 5 foods? He said, yes. If I eat something more, I have to go to emergency. So it happened the last half year. I said, okay. ¿Qué pasa? She went to multiple therapists because now she was exhausted, tired, and she also thought maybe I have to do something physical. So the therapist said, "Oh, it's your gut microbes, so get all the stuff." Another one said, "Oh, it's your thyroid because your cortisol levels are down." Yeah, because
Right.
most times when people are running in burnout, the cortisol levels are down. Because if you're before burnout, your cortisol levels are high because you squeeze all the energy out. Burnout, cortisol levels high, low. And he thought, yeah, you have a thyroid issue. Anyhow, they gave her some drops, and homeopath, and from that it exploded. She could not only eat 5 foods.
Oh my gosh.
But everybody said actually it's your gut issue. Eh? Your gut is the issue, and maybe your thyroid. And she did my 3 brains dominance test, so which brain makes your decisions when you don't think about it, and my 12 protector test based on the limiting beliefs. And I saw her score, and I listened to the whole story, and I said, "Is it allowed that I just stop coaching for a moment and just give my opinion?" She said, "It's okay." I said, "Thank you." I said, "According to me, according to your score and to your story, your gut is not the issue." She said, "What?" I said, "No, your heart is the issue. Your heart
Mm.
likes to please everybody, your boss and your everybody. And what it does, it overrides all the systems. So it says to the gut, give me all the energy to please everybody. And your gut is actually now a service from your heart, squeezing all the energy in everybody else, except in yourself." She fell silent. Ears came out. She said, "You're so true. My heart is the issue, not my gut." From there, we went almost to coaching. Actually, I said, "I'm not a doctor, but I'm a coach and a therapist, and I subscribe for you. You're not allowed to work in the evenings or in the weekends for the next month. And if your boss asks something, you say, my therapist says it, and I'm also a therapist, so that can be the case. So I forbid you to do so." So much fun to say that. I said, and we worked, say, on her beliefs or on the limiting beliefs. What happened in a couple of weeks? The next time I saw her, 2 weeks later, she was eating 12 foods. Later on, she went almost to 30. The whole
Wow.
system came back because actually that she changed the system. So actually, her work life where she came in from was also much better because she put all the boundaries in her work, and she became good again. And her boss actually did not like it, but also appreciated it because he understands now, okay, I have now somebody who can bite back, but makes her actually better. Although I don't like that she bites back, but makes her better. So somewhere her boss didn't like it, but appreciated that she became better, and her health actually increased. So work-wise, she became better. Her team also get much more energy as communication director because her team also was now not only protecting her whole team, but putting the empowerment back in the team. And her personal life can better. So that can happen when your 3 brains are actually, say, working together and are not fighting together.
Well, I think that's a beautiful story. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And it personally happened to me. All my decisions were coming from my heart space and my body started shutting down. And typically people wait till it's too late. Like that woman that you
Yep.
helped, she was already in crisis mode, and it was beautiful that she came to you and you were able to help her through that. So for all the people out there that are like, this is me, this is me, this is me, how do I start? Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and where people can find out more information about your 3 brains intelligence framework?
Okay. The first thing I would say, and also for you, Lisa, I just invite you because you didn't do it up to now, so I'm just going to push you a little bit. If you go to my website, 3 Brains Intelligence, you find there free tests. You find in the top bar, you find tests, 3 brain tests. There are 2 tests. 3 brain dominance, that actually gives you an insight which brain of you is the most dominant in your normal life. Like you're a hard person, so you know. Most people don't really know it or have an idea about it, but don't work. And it shows which brain of you makes probably most dominant the brains. Which brain is the most loudest voice? So
Right.
which brain do you mostly follow in all your decisions? So you already come aware, hey, my silent brain or my least score brain is probably not always active. So that means the qualities of that brain are not in my life mostly. Setting your own boundaries, taking care of yourself, and those kind of stuff is your gut brain is the lowest score. So that gives a beautiful insight already because they know, okay, I should maybe start working, listening to my lowest score of my brain. The other test is the 12 protector test, and that actually touches what we discussed about the imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs. It gives you insight which of your limiting beliefs are actually running still a lot of your shows. And if you know that, these are the beliefs actually. These are the protectors, the pleaser, the endurer, the caretaker, the perfectionist that actually run my life. For a lot of people, they know, but it is now really out in your face there. And it also shows in the result what's the quality of it. So why do you keep doing it most times? Because a perfectionist has a quality, yeah? If you go to a dentist, like they have a perfectionist.
Right.
Yeah, so a perfectionist is not per se bad. So you see the skills, but also what is the pitfall of it. So it helps you actually to start to splitting those. Okay, I like to keep the skills. I like to skip actually the negatives of it. So it helps you to get an insight where do you work on that. 3 brains intelligence, you can do the test. It's all for free, so there's no strings attached in that part. You get a small report back, not a full report, but people can still ask, hey, can I have a 15-minute call with you to get some insights about it? Also still not strings attached. Why do I every time say that? Because I have a little or big ambition, Lisa. My ambition is to make this world a better place. I would love if before I breathe out my last breath, that I could look myself in the mirror and say, the world is a little drop better because people are not only working from their gut brain and being a narcissistic, egocentric prick, but also embedded at the heart and the head in the system. Yeah, why I say that, because the world, if you now look at the news, it's all about fighting, polarization. I don't like
Power.
you, I don't like you, I hate you, power, money, etc. That's a lot of gut brain. I would love that we use 3 brains in the whole world society, because then at least it's a compassionate world where we still have achievements, but done on logical sense. So if people like to learn something or like to know something, I give them something for free away, because I like to educate. Of course, if you like to have 10 calls with me, you have to start asking money for it, because otherwise I cannot pay my own house anymore. But the first part is free, because I love that people start learning from it and start doing for it. And in probably next month, if you do my test, there are 2 little ebooks. Then also on my website, after the test, you can download. You can also then buy them on Amazon or on iBooks. But after the test, you can also download it, and it gives you insight about the 3 brains, and it gives you insight actually about, we talked about decision making, how you change, and it gives you some insights and little steps how you can change already.
Wow. Well, that sounds exciting. And even though I know that I'm heart led, I'm still going to go to your website and fill out that form and check out all of your stuff because I see the change that you're making in the people that you're working with and the stories that you talk about and the past episodes that you've done on the show. You are making a difference and you are sharing your craft with the world. So I'm going to go to your website and check that out. I encourage all of our listeners to do the same thing. And do you have any last minute thoughts on the topic today? I know that I'm going to not text my ex back. If I got anything from the show with me today, it's don't text my ex back.
Yeah,
And don't
or
go to the
X, or
grocery store hungry.
no, 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 the last words. Based on decisions, and I still remember when I was really a long time ago, I did Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, Walk of Fire.
Yes.
Yes, I still love him. I still admire him. And what I still remember from 25 years ago, or even more, when I did it, when I was really young, he said, decisions are the core of everything you do.
Yeah.
And that's so true, because if I now pick up my glass, it's decision. The moment I scratch my head, it's decision. Of course, those are not major changing, but the moment we start changing our decisions, we start changing our own happiness, health, success, achievements, and everything. And when you think about your decisions, your 3 brains are responsible for making a decision. And then one last thought. Lisa, are there people in this world, do you think, who love to make mistakes, who love to fail, and love to make a horrible life of themselves?
No, no
No,
one.
no, nobody loves it. Your gut doesn't like to make mistakes, because your gut means, mistaken gut means, I don't have food, so I die, or I become food, so I die. So the gut doesn't like mistakes. The heart does not like mistakes, because a mistake means I get rejected, I lose my tribe, I lose my group. Nobody on Facebook or Instagram likes me anymore. So the heart doesn't like to have mistakes. The head does not like to have mistakes because mistakes means that the prediction is wrong. If the prediction is wrong, then maybe I fail, maybe I do something wrong, and maybe there's other consequence. So nothing inside us likes to make mistakes.
No.
And still we make mistakes because we listen sometimes only to one brain. And just said we have three different strategies. Good for me, good for us, doesn't make sense. So if you to listen only to one brain too much, there's a chance that you make mistakes and that you regret them and that you are painful and that you feel shitty and that you are horrible and not happy, etc., etc. So as last words, your three brains help you to make the best decisions you can make. Listen to one and you set probably yourself up for failure. Pain, disease, ex-boyfriends who still knock on your door, etc., etc., or girlfriends.
So
So that's my
I'm
last
thinking,
words.
I love that. So it's very important to figure out which brain is in charge. And so right now I'm picturing my heart as the little angel on my shoulder and my gut as the little devil on my shoulder. Is that right?
Yes, that's beautiful because they sit next to you and they can talk to your ears. And when you listen, actually, it goes right away to your brain in the system because listening and smell and taste right away go in. They don't get filtered. So right away, you could hear actually them all saying from, hey, Lisa, yes, no. And the moment they don't agree with each other, you hear a yes and a no in your ears. And you think, oh, okay, a yes and a no. Okay, now I should pause and don't do anything. First, sort out what I should do.
Right. Or get a fly swatter for the devil.
Yes,
Thank you so much for being here today. It was such a great conversation.
love to be there with you, Lisa.
Yeah, so much fun. And to our audience, if you don't know which one of your brains is in charge, go to Chris's website and check out his free form that you can fill out to find out which brain is in charge. We will have all of that listed in the show notes today. I know for me, I have to stop listening to my heart most of the time. That's how we seep energy. So I'm going to go to Chris's website and check out my brain and see what I can do about it. Until next time, take care, everybody.